Are you spending hours trying to be a perfect parent, but your kids are still anxious, stressed, or acting out? The data shows we spend double the time with our kids than parents did 50 years ago, yet kids are more overwhelmed than ever before. We are accidentally overparenting and it's hurting them. In this video, I am breaking down a 4,000-year-old formula from ancient Kabbalistic wisdom that tells you exactly where to step back and where to step up. Ancient Jewish wisdom teaches that every human being is born with 10 soul forces called the Sfirot that make up our entire emotional and spiritual experience of life. Our life's work, what the tradition calls avodat amidot, which may be translated as character work, is to bring those forces into their right integration. We each come into this world with a unique character blueprint, and our entire mission, our personal path of correction, is to refine and develop that blueprint throughout our lives. The more we refine our character, the more whole we become, the more fully human, the more fully ourselves. Now, today I want to focus on 3 of those forces. These 3 soul forces are directly at the heart of the helicopter parenting trap. And I want to show you how each one can go beautifully right and how each one can go quietly, dangerously wrong. In 30 seconds, I'm going to show you the first soul force, and once you see its shadow side, you will never look at your acts of giving the same way again. The first is called Chesed. It means overflowing, unconditional love and giving. It's the force that gets you out of bed at midnight when your child is sick. It doesn't ask whether they deserve it or not. It just gives. It's one of the most beautiful forces of the human soul. The Kabbalah teaches that the entire world was created through Chesed, through a free, overflowing, completely unconditional desire to do good. God gave not because he had to, but simply because giving is its nature. It's the nature of love. And that is the deepest instinct in every parent. That love is real, but Chesed has a shadow side. When Chesed hasn't been worked on, when it's in what the tradition calls its natural egocentric form, the giving is secretly about the self. I give because I need to feel needed. I give because I can't tolerate watching my child struggle. I give because it makes me feel like a good parent. I give to prove something, to them, to others, to myself. And here is the brutal irony. The parent who overgives from this place is not actually giving their child what the child needs. They are giving the child what the parent needs. Now, I want to pause here and ask you something honest. When you jump in to fix your child's problems, is it because they needed you to, or because you couldn't stand to watch them struggle? Drop your honest answer in the comments below. I'll be happy to read it. Now, if Chesed gone wrong creates the over-giving parent, what's on the other side? Because here's where it gets even more interesting. The second force is called Gvura, the force of boundary, discipline, and loving restraint. And the Kabbalah teaches something breathtaking about it. Before the world was created, God's infinite light filled everything. There was no space, no room for anything else. And so there was no world, because a world requires distinction, separation, the possibility of something separate and free. So what did God do? He contracted. He pulled back. He made room. This is called tzimtzum, the divine self-contraction. And it was God's first act of love. God's first creative act was not to give more, it was to give space. And the parenting translation is this. A child cannot become themselves inside a parent who fills every silence, fixes every problem, and removes every obstacle before it forms. When you step back, when you allow the struggle, you're not failing your child. You are making room for them to be born into themselves. But Gvura also has a shadow. When Gvura hasn't been worked on, when it's running from the ego, it becomes cold rigidity. It says, things need to be the way I want them to be. My way is the only way that counts. It wants to be right above all, even above the relationship itself. It enforces rules without warmth. It holds the line without love, and the child on the receiving end of that Gvura doesn't feel held, they feel judged. So, how do we hold both the giving of Chesed and the restraint of Gvura at the same time? That is the third force, and this is where the whole thing comes together. The third force is called Tiferet, which means beauty, truth, and integrity. It's the force that holds Chesed and Gvura together, not as a compromise between the two, but as their common source. Think of it like this. Imagine two children are fighting. A stranger steps in to mediate. They have no relationship with either child, no knowledge of who they really are. Whatever they arrange may be coldly right, but is it really what each child needs? But when their mother steps in, she doesn't split the difference because she already knows both children completely. She holds them both with the same love because both of them came from her. That is Tiferet. In parenting, Tiferet asks you one question over and over. And if you can learn to ask it honestly, it will transform your parenting. And the question is what I am doing right now actually in my child's best interest? Or is it about my own need to be needed? Here's what it looks like on a regular day when your child comes home devastated that they didn't make the team. The Chesed impulse says, call the coach, fix it, make the pain stop. On the other hand, Gvura, unchecked, without warmth, says he didn't work hard enough. He doesn't deserve to be on the team. And Tiferet says, stay open and curious. You see their pain fully. You don't minimize it. You don't rush past it. But you are also grounded. Grounded in the truth of who you are as a parent. Grounded in the truth of who your child is. And grounded in the truth of what this moment is actually asking for. And from that place, not from your anxiety and not from their emotion, you can reflect clearly. Maybe what's needed right now is simply your presence. Maybe it's encouragement. Maybe it's a harder conversation about effort and expectations. Tiferet doesn't tell you what to do in advance, but it gives you the clarity to see which one is true. This is the gift of Tiferet, the ability to hold full empathy, to really see into your child's experience without being pulled under by it yourself. You feel with them, but you don't lose yourself in the feeling. And it's from that steadiness that real parenting happens. So, which of these three do you lead from as a parent? Are you heavy on Chesed, the giver who struggles to step back? More Gvura, the one who holds the line but sometimes loses the warmth? Or are you finding Tiferet, that honest, integrated middle? Tell me in the comments below. Now, let's get very practical, because this is where ancient wisdom becomes a real tool for your real life. Look at the areas where your child is struggling right now, not where they need more of you, where they are struggling, and ask yourself these questions. If your child is falling short academically, ask yourself, am I the one managing their homework and deadlines? If your child is struggling socially, ask yourself, do I step in to smooth over their conflicts? If they have low motivation or zest for life, ask yourself, do I arrange and fill their time for them? If they are rebelling or being disrespectful, ask yourself, have I been over-controlling their choices? If they fall apart when things don't go their way, ask yourself, have I truly let them sit with difficulty? For each one, ask yourself, is this an area where I need to give them the tzimtzum, the space to grow into their own person? And then flip it, because here's the other side the wisdom demands we look at. Are there areas where my child genuinely needs my guidance and I've been absent or avoidant? Am I stepping back not because it's good for them, but because it's easier for me? Is there a conversation I've been avoiding that they actually need me to have? Because the goal here is not to do less. The goal is to give from Tiferet, to do what is actually true for your child, not what manages your own anxiety. So here is what the ancient wisdom is telling us. More time is not the same as more love. More involvement is not the same as more support. And more giving can sometimes be the most subtle form of taking away your child's chance to discover what they're capable of. Jewish wisdom teaches us that our children came through us, but they do not belong to us. They are not extensions of our ego. They are not proof of our worth as a parent. They are souls on their own journey. And our job is not to walk that journey for them. Our job is to give them what they truly need, not what quiets our anxiety, makes us feel worthy or needed. The 3 questions to carry with you from today. Where am I giving from Chesed, but it's really about me? Where do I need to offer the tzimtzum, the sacred step back? And where is Tiferet asking me to simply be present without fixing and without judging? If this episode opened up something for you, please share it with a parent that needs to hear this today. And if you want to learn more about these soul forces, check out this episode where I explain the idea of light and vessel, which is a fundamental idea in this ancient framework. I'll see you there.